for the final segment of the Closed Fist. I am Russ. That is Joey. That is Will.
Wonderful.
And the Nickel City Nightmare. Derek Johnson.
Less phlegm that time. Very good.
Well, I had to dry it out a little bit.
Do you have a lozenge?
All about lozenges. If anybody out there knows anybody, the Closed Fist is looking for promotional stuff. They like lozenges.
Lozenges.
Lozenge.
A lozenge, sir.
That was a really bad accent too.
You got a fight coming up, my friend.
I do have a fight coming up.
And now, is this guy going to put his tail between his legs and run like a bitch, or is he actually going to show up?
No. This guy, he's got
so angry.
Five fights.
He's still mad about Carmella.
5 fights.
5 fights.
Now, I thought I saw his record at 1-4.
Yes.
What? So 1 and 5?
Well, so this guy, and he's been fighting for, he's 36, he's been fighting for, I think that's, his first one was in 2013, and he went the distance with a guy, and I believe, I don't remember if this is, it was a decision, I don't remember if it was split or unanimous, but I mean, stood toe-to-toe with a guy. He had one fight stopped early, I believe it may have been a cut. He had one fight stopped, the crowd kind of booed a little bit. He kind of got backed into the cage, kind of got rattled a little bit, never completely went down, but he didn't look like he was in great shape, as far as being cognitive. And he kind of he bounced back pretty quick from it. I don't remember the other one. Like, those are the 3 losses of his that I recall, and then his last fight was a win via submission.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, anybody who's willing to go through that kind of record and the things that he went through, you guys got to have some balls. So,
No, yeah. To get in that ring, you got to have balls.
right.
Yeah.
So-
Now, one of the things, I spoke to your dad a little while back, and he actually showed footage of this guy. He's got pretty quick feet for his build or whatever.
I mean, he's from what I saw, he's like 6 foot 6'1". He weighed about 280 for his last fight.
Okay.
So I mean, he's not a slouch.
Yeah.
I don't know, like that one early stoppage. I don't know if that was, just a doc being protective. I don't know. Like, bottom line, I got to walk into this thing the same way I walked in the last one, regardless of who it is, what they look like, anything about them. I got to walk in like I'm fighting Brock Lesnar. I got to walk in there like I'm fighting somebody who's going to absolutely maul me if I'm not ready.
All right. Now talk about your preparation. How did your preparation change from the previous fight to this fight?
Well, I've changed where I'm training.
Okay.
I'm at Western New York MMA right now, which it just offered more. I'm not saying that who I was training with, the people I was training with were not good, because they were all fantastic between John, Boyd, and Mark. They're all very knowledgeable and everything else. My biggest thing is I needed people to train with, not just one-on-one with a coach. One-on-one time is great. One-on-one time is absolutely fantastic. But when you start talking about
Spar.
I need to wrestle, I need to spar, like my wrestling coach, Boyd, who is in my opinion probably one of, if not the most knowledgeable wrestling coach you could find, not just here, anywhere. He's older. He's not necessarily always in the greatest of health. He's got some issues, and but it's just one of those things that I can't get on the mats and wrestle with him. So I needed people. I needed people who I could actually roll with, people I could actually spar with, and kind of go out and
Yeah, you got to play out the scenarios. You can't just learn from a book. You got to play it out.
Right. And I've been working my ass off. I've been mostly working with I don't know if Scott has an MMA fighter or any of that, but I know he's a kickboxer. He's damn good. He's known as Buffalo's Bad Boy, Scott Skinner. And actually, when I leave here, I'm going to meet with him to get more work in this week. And I've been working with him a lot to really hone my skills and just get ready to do this thing, because with everything that happened with the other companies and everything else, and being involved in ownership over there and whatnot, and that definitely took a toll on not only me but my fitness and everything else. There was more. I was worried about the monetary side of the businesses and not my own training. And this was the move that I made to go to Western New York, was to focus on me and focus on my training, because at 30, I'm not old, but I'm not sure how much longer. You never know how much longer you have to do something like this. I'm a pretty active guy. I play hardball and stuff with guys in their 40s and some even in their 50s. But at the same time, fighting is not baseball.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Nope.
It's not an old man's game by any stretch of anyone's imagination.
Especially when you take a punch to the face.
And not for nothing, man. But taking a punch from a big boy. You may not take as many, but they hurt.
Yes, they do.
Yes,
seems like a ham hock. You know what I mean? Boom!
Right in the pork chops.
Right in the pork chop. Filled that one in, didn't you?
I boxed for 5 years, man. I can tell you. I mean, it hurts.
Yeah. And it may not come as fast, but it comes hard, boy. And I'll tell you, you get clocked by somebody who's upper 200s.
Feels like a cinder block.
You're getting hit by a ton.
Yeah. I mean, now talk about preparation and whatnot. You're in the super heavyweight division.
Yes.
Now we've talked before.
Yes.
About you moving down a division to the heavyweight division. Is that still in the plans, or
Yes.
is this like one step at a time kind of a thing?
I'm taking it one step at a time. And again, trying to be safe about the weight cut again with a lot of stuff that was going on. Even we talked before. I was supposed to have a fight earlier this year that ended up falling through. Because that guy couldn't clear New York State Athletic Commission for whatever fucking reason, but
because they saw a picture of you.
It's kind of intimidating. I'm not gonna lie.
It's one of those things where for whatever reason the commission said no. I have a couple ideas of possibly why, but I'm not going to throw those out there on speculation because.
It's just speculation.
Yeah, they literally just called and said no, we're not letting this guy fight in New York, and it could be for any number of reasons, but.
Tax evasion.
Probably. That'd be the one. That's the one I'm leaning towards the most. But yeah, it's one of those things where, from the start of that fight prep and going back from it, I wasn't doing what I needed to do with my eating, with my diet, with working out. There's just a lot going on in my personal life and, my professional life as far as the businesses went that just hampered that. There were days that I could have worked out or could have been doing something that I didn't because I just didn't have it in me to get there and do it because I was dealing with so much other crap.
It just thins you out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and of course.
Obviously being business owners, you guys understand, that side of things. And
I can only imagine training's got to be a full concentration, man.
And so right now, on top of the training, I'm also in the middle of coaching high school baseball and finishing up the competitive flag football season that me and Taylor and the boys here do, and the start of my own hardball season on top of that.
Yeah.
So I've been juggling a lot of stuff right now, and my girlfriend Allie, she's been an absolute fucking saint through this whole thing because this is the absolute hellish time of year for me. But being off during the week for my real job, and by the way, I have a real job on top of all this.
What?
And yeah. So, on top of all of that, when she's at work is mostly when I go and train during the day, which is something else that Western New York MMA offered is they do things during the day, during the week, where you can get in and get a workout in. And, again, Scott's been fantastic. There's times like, hey, man, can I meet you at noon? I know you're he does classes Mondays and Thursdays. Tuesday, Wednesday, Friday, hey, man, can I meet you at noon? And he'll be like, yeah. And then, even if it's like, hey, bro, can you come pick me up on your way? And I'll just scoop him on the way through and we go and get the work in. And,
that's how it's supposed to be. That's how you're supposed to be with it.
Now, at some point, because what you just described is probably what, and when I'm out doing interviews with the local wrestlers, one of the questions that I always like to ask is, the fans come in, they see the lights, they see the ring, they see a tiny camera, they see, but they see.
Is Russ the tiny camera?
Is it
that sounds like a great fight name, by the way.
Tiny camera, yes.
Is that a short joke? Jerk.
Absolutely.
It's a tiny camera joke. I don't know what you're talking about.
But they see all of these things. They see the production. But there's things that they don't see.
Let's see what you put into it.
Like your training. You have a full-time job. There's other things that you do. At some point, do you make a choice about what you're doing when you're not fighting?
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things when there's the guys that take off I fought and I'm going to take 3-6 months off, whatever, and I'm not going to train. Maybe once a week, twice a week, and then once you go back. You know what? I think I'm going to go to class tonight. And then you start to get the itch and everything else. And I don't like that I took almost a year it's like 2 weeks from being a year to the date between fights. I was supposed to have 2 other fights in between this that didn't pan out for different reasons. I don't want to go that long. As long as I'm interested in being in the cage and getting in there and doing the stuff, I want to keep doing it. I want to be consistent, and that's going to help me reach that 265 weight class. Just staying active, staying moving, and having a reason to stay on point with diets and stuff like that. Because I'm the guy, and you guys know this, and this how me being here and hanging out, and there were some nights like, oh, I'll go have a beer, and it turned into, hey, it's 4 a.m. I ordered food twice since I've been here.
Welcome to the black hole known as the transit.
Love that.
The lounge of music on
the lounge of music
on the road transits, yes.
And
the tots have loaded.
So I end up getting ordering food twice and going through half a bottle of Red Stagger or Grand Marnier while I'm here. And that's not really something I should be doing if I'm trying to do this other stuff.
You make a great point too. A lot of these professional athletes or professional fighters, when they take that year off, that 19 months off in between, they lose a step because they're not there. They're not putting that work in. They're not stepping up their game. They're just maintaining.
Yeah.
And you got to, especially in this sport, you have to just keep going higher and higher.
Right.
You can't just stay at a level because somebody's going to watch your tape and know what you do.
Right. And I have the advantage of, there's 1 minute and 4 seconds of tape on me. And,
True.
not trying to take anything away from anybody, but, the guy that I won against the first time, I don't think he knew what he was stepping into. I think he thought like, oh, it's just me and another big guy, we're going to go bang around. And I haven't seen or heard anything of him. He hasn't even taken potentially a second fight since then. He could just be training harder and trying to lose weight and get in better shape and try to come back.
Or putting his nose from here to here.
Or he may have went, that was stupid, I shouldn't have done this.
Right.
And that's a very real thing.
Especially when you lose like that. That's something that gets that doubt in your head. Like, am I doing this? Is this the right thing for me? Am I going to cause future injury to myself?
It's a sport that, there are definitely people out there who want to say, I'm a fighter. I'm an MMA fighter. I'm, and, I know people, I know some people that are like that. They just want to be able to say that they are or that they do.
Get chicks.
And, it's dangerous.